Hello, you guys. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. I am super excited about the conversation that I want to have with you all today. Excuse me. For those of you that are new to me, my name is Jennifer. I am your nonprofit expert, over 39 years of experience helping organizations put together plans and strategies, systems, and tools so that you not only start your nonprofit organization, but you understand how to run it. You understand how to sustain it. You understand how to grow it so that the impact that your organization desires to share is actually lived. I have been, again, doing this work for 39 years. This year is 40. And I've worked with thousands of organizations, both nationally and internationally, making sure that these organizations have the structures and the systems needed to really thrive in your community, taking away all of the mystery, taking away all of the misunderstandings, misconceptions, misinformation, and really trying to give you the truth and giving it to you in a way that you can understand it, not just to be a hearer of the word, but to be a doer. So I want to say thank you for joining today. For those of you that are watching on my YouTube, thank you for joining. Please like, share, and subscribe. For those of you that are listening in on my podcast, Nonprofit Nuggets with Jennifer Yarbrough, welcome back. Welcome back. I appreciate your listening. I appreciate all of your comments, your words of encouragement to me to keep going, and also letting me know how my information is really transforming and enlightening your understanding of what is a nonprofit, and not just the program component, but the organizational component. Today, I want to talk about another big mystery in the nonprofit space, particularly for those of you that are looking or desiring to start a nonprofit organization. You've never worked in a nonprofit, you've never run a nonprofit, you've never structured a nonprofit, and for many of you, you may actually believe that the process of starting the nonprofit begins with the paperwork. So I want to just dispel more myths. I want to give you more fact, more relevant and pertinent information that's really going to help you to understand what you have on your hands and the opportunity that you have to take your organization to the level that you desire for it to be, but also where your community can benefit from it. All right. So today we're going to talk about structure versus system versus paperwork versus program. Okay. And what you need to understand about all of those things. All right. Let me start by saying something that might sting a little bit. But those of you guys who know me, you know it's only going to sting for a minute, honey. It'll start feeling better after a while. Okay. But let me say something that's going to sting for a bit. It is going to be the truth, but I believe it will save your nonprofit organization. Okay. What I am about to say will likely save your nonprofit organization. You will never get it right if you understand it wrong. I'm going to say that again. You will never get it right if you understand it wrong. And right now, most nonprofit leaders understand it wrong. If you are that nonprofit leader where you think filing your paperwork equals building a nonprofit, filing your paperwork equals starting a nonprofit, if you think doing your program is the same as running the organization, if you believe that getting volunteers is sustainability, if you think having passion for your work is fundability, if you believe that doing social media posts is marketing, if you believe that writing grants is fundraising, no, 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 no. And here's the other truth. If your organization's foundation is wrong, everything you build on top of it will collapse. Okay? Listen, there are lots of tools out there, right? There are lots of trainings, lots of consultants, lots of courses, lots of webinars, lots of AI templates, lots of CRMs, lots of groups that you can be a part of, right? Lots of videos over there on YouTube University, lots of information on Cousin Chat, lots of a conversation that you might be able to be a part of in some of, Google Nation, or again in some of the groups that you're in. But let me say this very clearly. If your organizational structure is not defined, if it's not clear, none of those things are going to help you. You can't fix a foundation problem with a shiny tool or a course or training. You cannot get it right if you understand it wrong. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Understanding is more important than action. And this is where a lot of you are struggling. A lot of nonprofit organization leaders, particularly those of you that have never worked in a nonprofit, never built a nonprofit, never started a nonprofit, this is where a lot of you are failing, okay? And I don't want you to feel any kind of way about it, because the majority of new nonprofit organizations are failing, particularly those that started on their own, right? With no leadership, no guidance, no direction, no experience. This is what happens. You keep doing without understanding what you are doing or why it matters. Let me say this clearly. You cannot apply your way into funding. You must structure your way into funding. People say, I'm looking for a board training, Jen, or I hired a grant writer. I got a CRM, Jim, or what's the best CRM for me to get? Jen, I got AI to write me a grant proposal. I bought a fundraising class, Jen. I took a class on board development. But listen, a tool cannot fix a misunderstanding. A training cannot fix a misalignment. A grant writer cannot fix a structure that does not exist. A CRM cannot create donors you haven't built trust with. If you misunderstand what a nonprofit is, everything else you do will be wrong. Okay? So I want to break it down for you. I want to fix the misunderstanding. Okay? I want to fix the misunderstanding. I want to define what some of these words mean so that it finally makes sense. Okay? Most people think that structure is the paperwork, right? Jen, I got my 501c3. I got my EIN, I got my articles of incorporation, I'm registered at the state. I have my 501c3. And so you might think that your structure is the same as the paperwork, and that's not true. When I talk about structure of your nonprofit organization, your corporate entity, your administrative entity, the structure of that administrative entity, because that's where the funding goes, that means your governance, that means your financial systems, that means your fundraising systems, that means your policies and your internal controls, that means your administrative workflows, that means your sustainability planning. Let me give you a kid friendly version, okay? A kid friendly version. The paperwork is the birth certificate. The structure is the body. The systems are the organs that keep the body alive. The program is the activity the body performs. I'm going to say that again because many of you hear me talk about the word structure and systems and program, right? I want you to envision this. The paperwork, that 1023 form that you complete for the IRS, that ain't nothing but a birth certificate. It does not do anything but show that your organization is registered. That's all that means, okay? But when I talk about structure, think of the structure as the body. Okay. The structure includes your governance, your financial systems, your fundraising systems, your policies, your internal controls, your administrative workflow flows, right? Your sustainability planning. That's the structure. It is the body. The systems are the organs that keep the body alive. The program is the activity the body performs. So if the body is weak, the activity suffers. If the structure is weak, the program suffers. If the organs fail, that's your systems, your fundraising systems, your communication systems, right? Your financial systems. If those organs or those systems fail, then the body, the whole organization, the structure dies. This is why you can't get it right if you understand it wrong. What systems actually are? What are those systems? Not what you think, what they are. Okay? Systems are not apps. Systems are not software. Systems are not templates. Systems are not forms. Systems are the repeatable processes that keep the organization functioning. Okay? Here's an example. A donation process that works the same way every time. Your fundraising system is a predictable system. It is a repeatable process that keeps the organization functioning. Okay. A grant reporting process as a system that protects the organization. A budgeting process that aligns with your fundraising plan. A communication process that updates donors and funders and supporters consistently. Okay. So systems are your stability. Stability is your credibility. Credibility is your fundability. Your donors, your funders, your supporters, those capital issuing authorities. They're not giving to you because of your passion. They're not giving to you because you got a piece of paper. They're giving to you based on your credibility. Your credibility. Okay? No systems, no credibility, no funding. And again, if you misunderstand systems, you will buy tools that you don't need and still fail. A lot of you confuse your legal formation with organizational structure. Legal formation, right? Legal formation is your articles of incorporation, your EIN, your bylaws, your you're registering at the state, the 1023 form. All right. That's your legal formation. That's the information that must be filed at the IRS. Okay. But that's not structure. That's just compliance. That's just compliance. That just says that your organization is recognized as tax exempt, but that is not structure. Okay. So compliance is not the same as capacity or sustainability. Compliance does not mean that you are ready for funding or money. You can be legal and still not be structured. And if you misunderstand this part, you'll think, we're official. Now, where's the funding? Right? If you misunderstand, you'll think, well, I've got my 501c3. Now, where are the grants? We're registered. Why don't we have donors helping us? Because the paperwork is just permission to operate, it's not the operations. Okay. Now, I want to talk to you about program work versus organizational work. Here's another misunderstanding that destroys organizations. Many of you think that the program is the organization. No, the program is not the organization. You did not start a program. You started a nonprofit organization. The organization and the program are not the same thing. All right. So here's the breakdown. The program is the work you do, the feeding, the mentoring, the housing, the teaching, the helping, the work you do. The organization is how you run the work. That's your finances. That's your accountability. That's your reporting. That's your compliance. That's your fundraising. Okay. And many of you love the program, but then ignore the organization and then wonder why. And wonder why you're burnout. Wonder why money is inconsistent. Wonder why grants keep getting rejected. Wonder why donors don't stay. Wonder why staff and volunteers don't come back. Wonder why the board is not engaged. Wonder why the work doesn't grow. It's because you misunderstand the difference. And so you operate wrong. If you operate wrong, you will fundraise wrong. If you fundraise wrong, you cannot grow. Let me wrap this up for you, okay? There are literally thousands of nonprofit trainings. There are millions of templates. There are tons of grant writers. There are endless AI tools. There are a bazillion YouTube videos. There are countless Facebook groups. There are emerging CRMs daily. But none of those things can fix the problem if you misunderstand your organization's foundation. You will not get it right if you understand it wrong. If your organizational structure is not defined, and your organizational structure is not the program, if your organizational structure is not defined, grants won't work, fundraising won't work, donor retention won't work, partnerships won't work, volunteers won't stay, staff and you will burn out, and then your programs will collapse. How many of you have said, Jen, I started my nonprofit, but then we had to stop? Jen, I started my nonprofit, but I'm funding everything out of my pocket. Jen, I started my nonprofit, but we haven't been able to get funding. Jen, I started my nonprofit and my board is not engaged. Jen, I started my nonprofit, but funding is my biggest issue. Jen, I started my nonprofit, but I don't know what to do next. If this message hits you, I hope you understand why your nonprofit is struggling. If you suddenly see the missing pieces, if you recognize that you've lost years and thousands of dollars by setting up wrong, then it's time for real solution. Real solution. Not another class, not another template, not another guess. It's time to structure. It's time for systems. It's time for sustainability. And the truth is, you can try to do it yourself, or you can get help. I've been helping nonprofit organizations for over 39 years. 39 years of experience helping organizations build it right the first time. If you're ready for clarity, if you're ready for structure, if you're ready for sustainability, if you're ready to really understand the foundation of your organization, if you're ready to really know what you are leading, if you're ready to put together an organization that is going to attract your donors and your funders, if you are ready to increase your revenue opportunity, because every day that you don't have a system, every day you don't have a structure, is every day you do not have 15 different pathways, 15 different avenues, 15 different ways that funding comes into your organization. That's not a money issue. That's a knowledge issue. That's not a money issue. That's a structure issue. And all you got to do is put it together right. All right. If you're ready for clarity, if you're ready for structure, if you're ready to understand how to build the foundation of your organization, that all the tools and all the ways and all the paths are going to lead to your sustainability, I'm here to help. Okay. If you skip these steps, you're going to get down the road and realize that you don't have enough funding. You're going to get down the road and realize that you're doing everything by yourself. You're going to get down the road and realize that you did it wrong, and then you're going to have to turn around and come back and do it right. Skipping steps is not going to help you. Your donors, your supporters, your contributors, your sponsors, they know what it looks like when you skip steps. So you want to make sure that you are garnering credibility, that you are walking in clarity, and that you are leading your organization towards sustainability. That means what? That means you've got all the streams of revenue coming into your organization to support that important work, that you have what you need in order to operate as a body so that the program is able to have what it needs to benefit your community and change the lives of the people in your program. All right. Listen, I'm excited to speak with those of you that say, Jen, I did this all wrong. Jen, I did not know what I did not know. Jen, I started it wrong and I didn't even know I started it wrong. I need help and I need someone to hold my hand or do it for me. All right. If that's you, my name is Jennifer. I am your nonprofit expert, here to help take your organization from concept to idea to structured and sustainable. All right. Let's talk. Reach out to me and say, Jen, I'm ready. Jen, I'm ready. And then let's get your organization together. Before you spend another year misunderstanding what you're trying to build, get clarity, get structured, and then let's get funded. All right. Thank you for listening. I'll see you next time.